So, what do I think of this so far? It's not quite grabbed me as much as Monsters and Memories did. It's just not quite clicking as well. It does seem interesting, and it does have my interest. Um, it seems like, again, the EverQuest style does kind of grab me. But I don't like the pure experience of EverQuest. I've tried it. I felt like dying. You couldn't see that, but just take that as like me staring into the camera there. I do not have one. Me staring into the camera there with just like dead eyes, like I've started rotting from the inside. Yeah, it was not fun. The tutorial went on for anywhere from 5 to 7 hours. I was going to say 6 hours, but it could be 5 to 7, 5 to 8 hours. It went on for of nothing but auto attacking. Some of that I decided to do. Hey, let's grind a little because it looks like like your weapon skill really matters here. So I'll fight these enemies that I can fight, and I'll build up to fighting the guys further on. So there's a little bit of grinding early on in it. But even then, and that probably served me well, but even then it took me for fucking ever to get through the boys. No matter how well it served me, it still took me hours. And that was how the rest of the game was going to go. I was going to get some spells, I was going to get a companion, but how many more hours till that happened? I don't know. And the spells, I questioned how relevant to my playstyle they would be. You know? What I'd seen so far hadn't really instilled any excitement in me. So, these EverQuest likes are akin to EverQuest, but do differ from EverQuest, and that's something I am very appreciative of. I like EverQuest. It seems an interesting game. But my god, I could never play it. No. Like I said, I spent 5 to 8 hours there as a Beastmaster, and it was hell. Maybe I could go back and try out Necromancer, like my OG character was, but I really don't know. I really don't know, man. I'm not sure I could go back through that again anytime soon. It's been a number of months, but I still don't think I could do it. One, two. So, where was I? So yeah, I like the idea of EverQuest. It is an interesting game to me. I do find a charm to it, but I found the actual gameplay style of it mind-numbing and painful. There was an initial charm to it, and it was fine, but that combat wore on me quickly, and I grew to hate it. Now, the rest of the game still had a charm, but no. The combat was too much, and it killed it for me. I was done after that. Sorry, thought I heard something. But yeah, the game had a charm to me. Un momento. Ah, the sound of rain. I do love it. Wouldn't mind some rain now outside. Especially because we got the roof fixed. I hope. Like, we did get a guy in to do it. I'm just like, I really do hope he did a good job. But anyway, like I thought EverQuest had a charm to it. But that combat, while initially kind of interesting, just the auto-attacking. It was like, ooh, I could just let it play itself. It did wear on me after a time, and it kind of did kill the game on me. because I was just standing there doing nothing. You know, like, well, my character was attacking, but I, the player, wasn't doing anything. So it killed the interest in the game for me. So these games that are clearly derived from EverQuest, but are doing its own thing and deviating, are of interest to me. They are of interest to me. It's just I know a lot of people do like the EverQuest style and want to cleave the games to cleave strictly to it, and that's where we end up differing and having a different view on things. Like I've seen someone saying before, like their image of the Necromancer class fantasy, the Necromancer class fantasy. Where was it? Was, well, basic matchup 1-to-1 with how it is in EverQuest, where it's you cast dots, and so it was wrong to them for the Necromancer to have direct damage abilities, even though the game was built too fast for the Necromancer to be relevant with dots, to the point where if you played Necromancer in a group, you just became a secondary mana bar for someone else. It ruined their image of the class to change from that, even though it was killing the class. So, I will hope for more rain. But, so yeah, like these EverQuest likes are of interest to me because I do dig the vibe of it. But EverQuest in its totality does put me off. In its totality, it's a no-go. Yeah, my throat. So yeah, basically to a point I find EverQuest charming, but the full-fledged thing of it, not so much. Like the full length and breadth of how it does combat, of just like, if you're melee, you just auto-attack, that kills me. It really does. And say, this class having lack of a proper direct damage ability does kill me. Like, it's like, I have played casters before and WoW, and even from that little bit, like, a Warlock would have dots, yes, but they would have a direct damage ability. My direct damage ability being stabbing dude in face, and that not being a respected choice. Kinda sucks, man. Because it just means that I'm either going to stand there and do little, just like wait for my dots to time out, so I can cast them again, or I'm going to be a mana battery for someone. And that kinda sucks. I suppose I could go melee, but I know the Warlock the Necromancer here just kind of grabbed my eye, you know? So, yeah. I feel I lost my train of thought here. Basically, EverQuest has my interest, but the full-fledged thing really turns me off. Just the auto-attacking and nothing else. How it does its combat really does wear me out. It's kind of boring, man. So these EverQuest likes that try and capture the feel of it, but do their own thing and aren't just trying to be a one-for-one copy, are of interest. But of course, the people who are fans of EverQuest will also be appealed. This will also appeal to them, and they'll want to go in the opposite direction to me, where they wanted to cling even closer to EverQuest, warts and all, failings and all. So it's like, that's fair enough. That's what does it for them. I just hope the devs don't do that, because that does it more for me. You know, like I like the vibe of it, but the full-fledged thing really just does not grab me. That's all. I like a bit more interactivity in what I'm doing. I like a bit more. I know, be actually feeling like a participant in the battle, rather than that I'm just standing around with my fist on my ass. Not just my thumb, but my whole fucking hand. Both of them. And my elbows. Nothing in between though, just my hands and my elbows. Don't ask. So, but more particularly about this game, what do I think of it? I like it. It has a charm to it. I don't really feel... I wasn't particularly focused in my play of it. I did notice that back when I was trying Monsters and Memories. First two sets I was kind of tired approaching it. So it wasn't until the third set that I really get into it and really like it, you know? So this is only my second set and I'm still kind of unfocused with it. But sadly this is the... But sadly this is the end of the open playtest. Or the community alpha test. Community alpha playtest 7, I think that's it. It's the end of it. So I'm not going to get another chance at it. I'm not going to get to play more for now. If they do a community alpha playtest 8, I'll probably pop back in and do more. Probably. Yeah. No idea. But, we'll see. So yeah, I felt a little unfocused in my playing of it, so I don't feel quite that I'm into it as much as I was Monsters and Memories. I think that's winning it out for me, but I do find this game is interesting. I do like the look, I do like what I'm seeing of it so far. The Minecraft aesthetic, I could take or leave. It's fine, it's kind of cute, but and the way they're doing the combat so far seems interesting to me. The game in general seems interesting to me. I'll definitely be interested to see where it goes, you know, when it's more fleshed out. You got to remember, and this is something I keep forgetting, it is an alpha. It is an alpha playtest. Like, part of what they're doing here was server load. You know, those events of having tons of people turn up into one place. That was testing out the netcode. And it went well. I didn't notice any lag or any issues. Certainly noticed nothing on my end. And the devs were praising it as well, saying it had gone well. So it seemed like, provided they're not fibbing for some baffling reason, it seemed like it went well on their end too. They would have better, they would have stats that I wouldn't. But at least my experience of it went fine. Of course, I remember once experiencing high lag, it's fine. My game lagged so much it went back around to being responsive. I think I was on like 6,000 MS. Something like that. I was back playing WoW. I think that was back... Fuck. That might have been when I was playing Palanai back in Azure Mist. Down on the island on the southwest. You know, with the Night Elf family. Yeah. But, so, what do I think of this in particular? I think it's an interesting game. I keep swearing I hear something. I'm just being twitchy. I do think it's an interesting game. They've introduced the faction system much sooner than they did in Monsters and Memories. It seems interesting. Like, you start off as a necromancer hated with different groups, but and I don't know how it is for the other side, but you can win over the other side by killing enough of the right beings. You can win them over, at least to some degree. The church may never be appeasable, but the rest, sure. Which is kind of cool. I do remember seeing someone saying that they like to play a cleric of this one particular guy, a human cleric of that guy. So he he had that factional divide going on. So he had to work to win to earn their favor, you know. So it does seem like it will allow for that kind of gameplay, and it does just seem interesting. I know, it gives me a rep grind. Woo. That can be interesting for a time and fun to deal with, if there's a reward for it, if there's something in it for you, you know. Um, like I could see it kind of working one of two ways. Either just unlocking basic functionality, feeling actually like, whoa, I actually earned this now. So it's just normal, like you just use it like anyone else now. Or if you get a special bonus for doing the grind. It doesn't have to be something major, but just something to feel proud of. That would be also nice, you know? I could see the appeal in either way, but it's just like I could also see me losing interest because it's just like, God, this is such a pain in the ass. But yeah, the game has my interest. I don't think it's grabbed me quite as much as Monsters and Memories did, you know? I think I'm more hyped for Monsters and Memories than I am this, but I kind of got more into Monsters and Memories than I did this, you know? I was more focused on it the last day. But I do find this interesting. And the crafting system is also interesting, the automated station. So you can just throw your stuff in and fuck off and start doing something else. Like, so while your arrowheads are making on the anvil, you can go to the forge and start making up more copper. Or you can fuck off to the tailor's point and put a ton of cotton to be woven. You know, like, say if you have insane amounts of material, it's going to take a while. Say if you had 100 units of those arrowheads being made, and I don't mean just one, batch of them, I mean 100 batches of them, that's going to take quite a while. So you can fuck off and do something else and then come back. I do kind of dig that. I do wonder about the crafting system, how well it's going to hold up, because like I said, so many fall down on it, but that is a question for later days. At least so far in leveling, the crafting system does seem to be useful. They aren't throwing gear at you as, much as they do in something like WoW, like Vanilla WoW, or like in WoW in general. They throw gear at you like it's candy every few quests, or every quest. It depends on the area, probably the expansion, but very frequently they'll just throw gear at you and you get a new upgrade. Here, not so much. I haven't really been able to do quests for a while now because it focuses on rare drops, or I'm being sent to places beyond my, reach. It's like, there's no way I'm going to be able to fight the goons over there, so I have to grind up over here, and so I've barely done any quests here at all. Actually, Monsters and Memories, I didn't get one done. Thinking of it, but anyway. So the crafting here, the crafting system, seemed very relevant given how limited gear rewards are so far. Maybe once you hit your stride and hit your swing, you'll be fine, but for the time being, no. The crafting is the way to go. So the game has my interest. I don't think it's grabbed me quite as much as Monsters and Memories did. I'm sorry, folks, I'm tired here. I don't think it's grabbed me quite as much as Monsters Memories, but it does have my interest, and it does have some systems to it that I do like and do find interesting. Which one so far would win between Monsters and Memories and this, as they're both EverQuest-likes? I feel Monsters and Memories might win out, but we'll have to wait and see. We'll have to wait and see which one, because like Monsters and Memories in beta. It'll be coming into early access in the 1st of June, I think. I'm looking forward to it, and I'll give it another try then. If I don't get into the closed beta. But this is in the alpha. This is in alpha, It's a bit of an unfair comparison. Of course, alpha, beta are vaguely arbitrary. So, they could both be as far along progression-wise, they just want to keep calling it alpha. Like, I know 7 Days to Die, that was in alpha for like a decade. And then they just released it, I think. I'm not sure if it ever hit beta. I really didn't track that game well, but from the little bits I saw of it, that's how it seemed to have gone. So yeah, this game has my interest. It has my attention. I do feel Monsters and Memories is more my alley, but this is also of interest. It will be more interesting to see it further along and more fully formed. To see what it will be like then, but it does seem interesting thus far. Does seem interesting. I kind of ended up hitting off keys here thinking I was in the game, but I'm in OBS. The OBS window's around it, but I saw the game screen. So my head is just like, ah yes, I'm in the game. So there's game screen, OBS, and then within OBS is the game screen. And so yeah, mine just jumped. So let me make sure I'm actually still, yeah, everything seems fine to me. Yeah. 5 minutes till server shutdown. I can't remember where I was. I kind of cycled there a bit. I do apologize, I am tired. I only got... there was a bit on today, and I was also dragging my feet a little. So... But I only got to play now, so it is what it is. But yeah, the game does have my interest, and I would come back and play more. It's kind of hard to make up my mind of what I think of it just yet. It feels too early days to really judge, but it does seem interesting. I was kind of getting into, like, I was, you know, getting so much gathering done, and I was getting some killing done, and, you know, I was enjoying it. But I think if I really want to get into, be it this or Monsters and Memories, Monsters and Memories, I feel I said or there twice. Regardless, if I want to get into that, then I'm going to have to get over my skittishness about working with other people. The only thing that I'm worried about is the looting system in the game. How it's going to be done. Like in WoW, they have a preset looting system. They have looting they've looting system presets. Like, don't they have, like, you know, they've like the leader group can loot out to everyone. They have round robin, or, you know, they have different ways of doing loot. And they've, like, built-in rolling systems and stuff. The moment you open a corpse and, oh, there's a green on it, oh, there's an epic, there's a roll interface that appears, you know? Monsters and Memories has none of that. I don't know about this. From what I've seen, it's very much like Monsters and Memories, because that's how EverQuest was. And so, as such, that's something I worry about playing with other people. Looting something I shouldn't have by, like, whoopsie, like, habit, because of, you know, 10 plus years of WoW. Versus someone else looting it and then fucking off. You know, like, I worry about the looting system of the games. Just like how that's going to be handled, how that's going to be done, you know? Because it is different to WoW, and it's, like, dev-enforced system, you know? Like, just like the game itself is arbitrating, like, in the typical party, how you're going to do looting. Very few parties will have Master Looter on and have the guy doling it out at the end. Some raids will do it, like I remember they did that back in Retired and Grey Parsers. Remember that being done in plenty of raids there. They would roll it out at the end. And even the, like, raid level crafting materials would roll that out. But, you know, for parties, or like say if I grouped with someone and hit up that null rooms. There were nulls, right? I think they weren't kobolds. I think they were nulls. Yeah, I think it was nulls. Like, in the WoW equivalent, we'll just have, you know, the alternating, like, my corpse, your corpse, my corpse, your corpse, that the game would preset. But here, as far as I can gather, and same with Monsters and Memories, the corpses will be open to the full party. There's no mine, yours, So there's this whole loot management thing, and, you know, you actually having to communicate with people. So yeah, that system kind of worries me. Like I don't know how that's going to work out, and I don't know how it's being handled in these games as is. Because like a fair bit of play of Monsters and Memories has already happened behind closed doors, and I don't know what sort of culture around the looting has, sprung up there. It's behind closed doors. I don't know how they're really handling it. I do remember seeing people on the Discord arguing for um, a different system, and others arguing against that. Others wanted to keep it as it was, as it promoted communication and whatnot. Ugh, sorry. Ugh. But others disliked the possibility of abuse or accusations or this or that, so wanted something more enforced by the game. And to be honest, I would prefer some more enforced by the game. Because, 10 years of WoW and, compulsive looting, I'm gonna nick so much, and I don't want to. If it's not mine, I don't want to take it. But it's just like muscle memory habit. Hard to shake, but it is easier when there's no, auto loot. Like, I've gotten used to WoW and just clicking a corpse and siphoning everything off. It's being individual clicks really slows that down. So yeah, that'll be harder to do. But and there goes the servers. I'm not going to levitate in front of any campfire at this time, though. Ugh, the 7-Up is killing me. Ugh. Excuse me. Apologies. I think I've said everything I want to say. The game's of interest to me. Like, EverQuest itself is of interest to me. I think it's an interesting game, but the full-fledged combat system of it, no. These are EverQuest likes, and they are trying to provoke the vibe of it, but they are trying to do their own thing, like Malai classes in Monsters and Memories, and I presume here as well, do have Malai classes here do have, to my knowledge, abilities. I didn't get to try one here, but they do have abilities. Remember my... that could be the case. Remember my Shadow Knight? He had Slam, but that was a threat generating move. Maybe as a tank he would get some threat generating moves. But that'll be it. That could be an exception, If he was a melee DPS, he would just use auto attacks. I don't think so. I'm just thinking of EverQuest. From what I've seen and what I've heard, the melee classes don't get abilities. But maybe they just meant melee DPS. Maybe tanks would have threat generating moves at the very least. Also possible they would just have innately higher aggro. So their auto attacks would pull more threat gen, Excuse me. So yeah, EverQuest is of interest to me, but the auto attack focused combat, it really doesn't do it for me. So these EverQuest likes that are milder, they try and provoke the same feel, but aren't as intense about being EverQuest, are up my alley. But I do worry about them cleaving too closely to EverQuest that it ends up turning me off again, the actual EverQuest does. But they, at least for the time being, both of them do have my interest. Hey, folks. I've been rather tired this set. So I'm not really sure how much of that I'm leaving in. I'll leave it up to future me to decide. So let me just try again at saying what I got across, but seeing if I can do it better. I stopped and tried to focus myself, clear my head. I like the game. I think it's of interest to me. It didn't quite grab me as well as Monsters Memories did. I was more focused. It took me when I tried Monster Memories the first time, I was tired. Same with the second time. Third time, I was finally awake and was really able to get into it. Sadly, here I was still in my first two attempts, so I was a little unfocused. But the game did seem of interest to me. The crafting system seemed interesting, being able to work it as I did, and whatnot. There's potential there, and it seems interesting. One thing that concerns me with both games is I have tried EverQuest, but EverQuest didn't do it for me. It was very focused. If you played a martial class, you got no abilities, to my understanding. You got nothing. You just auto attacked. That was it. You're very gear dependent, and it determined how strong you were entirely. Like, obviously, all classes will be gear dependent, but you imagine you're playing WoW, and you play WoW, you roll up a warrior, say, and one warrior only auto attacks. He never uses charge, he never uses stances, he runs up to an enemy and it's just auto attacks. He never do anything else. Versus the warrior that uses charge, uses stances, uses abilities. That guy's going to be stronger, inherently, even if he's in lesser gear. He's going to be stronger to do. If there's enough of a gear difference, maybe the first guy could win out, but the other guy is going to be much more relevant. He can get out stuns. He can, do a variety of abilities. He can self-heal, I believe. I think there's some fury abilities that self-heal. He's got tricks. He's got moves. You got shit all in EverQuest. And so my fear is it being too much like the OG EverQuest, I've I know a lot of people play I like the idea of EverQuest. I do find there a charm to it, but the full-fledged thing really does put me off. There's a lot of people that don't feel like that and want these to be closer to it. So it's kind of an awkward position for the devs. But what I'm seeing so far does have my interest. I feel more drawn to Monsters and Memories than this, but I feel I didn't get to give this a fair enough shot. So, if they do another community test, I'll be there to give it a shot. I might just stick everything I recorded in, and you can just, put up with it. Because I feel like I may miss a good point here in trying to summarize this without listening through the whole thing. I may miss a good point. So, yeah. Basically, it has my interest. I think I'm more into Monsters and Memories, but this still has my interest. There's some good bits to it. I just think I'm vibing a bit better with the other one. But I'll need to play a bit more of this to give it a better, fairer shot before I really make my decision. Plus, this is an alpha test versus Monster Memories beta test. And Monsters and Memories is 2 months away from its early access release versus this game not having anything like that set. It may not release this year. So it's kind of unfair to compare the two too hard, They may both be EverQuest likes, but they both need to be treated correctly, if you get me. So, for next playtest, I'll probably turn up if I even realize it's going. I wouldn't be against turning up and giving another try, rolling up a new character or continuing Rothler here. I would have no issue in doing so. No issue whatsoever in doing so. Oh, stopping and starting, starting and stopping. Wait. My head's blanking. Apologies, my mind's drifting. It's partially me being tired, partially just how my head is. So yeah, I think that's ultimately the core of my point, and I've just been cycling here most of the time. The game has my interest. I think I like M&M more, but it does have my interest. There's stuff that they do that I like, and I'm interested in seeing how the crafting system goes. A lot of MMOs fall down under crafting system outside of utility items, but this might do well. So far, the crafting has caught my attention. Um, I wish I had more time to play with the game to do more with it, but it is what it is. We got to see a bit of it, and it certainly has my attention. It could be good, but if I'm ever to actually get into these games, then I am going to have to get over my skittishness about talking to people. Like when I was back in my last two WoW guilds, I was skittish there, you know? Actually, three. I forgot about home. I barely talked there. And again, it was nothing to do with the people. The people were fine. It's me. I'm. Oh, I'm a neat. I don't really talk to people. No, I went off on a tangent. I was too honest about how I truly feel about one prick. But, yeah, if I'm to ever actually get into these games, I'm gonna have to get over my skittishness and my, like, asocialness. I barely talked in. Don't think I barely talked at all when I was in home, my Miss Pandaria guild. Barely talked at all when I was in it. And I talked more in retired and grey parsers, but even then I was skittish about actually, you know, getting help. Like, I need to run this dungeon. I was skittish about it. So I just often didn't get to run dungeons because of it. I got to run raids because they were setting it up and let me join. Me actually putting myself forward to set up a run? Whoa, no. So, and it's nothing against the people there. The people there were nice. You know, I liked the groups. I'm still in their discords. You know, I was skittish. I was just nervous. I've dealt with a lot of spastics, and honestly, I'm a neat. I don't really talk to people. I may do the YouTube channel, but I don't really talk to people. You know, so it's just daunting to me to do so. But yeah, I've dealt with a lot of spastics too. It's just you deal with enough, you kind of end up expecting everyone to be one. You know, even when they prove they're not, it's just like, oh, fuck, what will set them off? You know. So yeah, it makes it hard for me to actually befriend people. Because if it's not them being a spastic, it's like, God, when am I gonna fuck this up? Oh, but that's something I'm gonna have to work on if I actually want to play an MMO, and especially one like this. With WoW, you can solo so much, and you can use LFG and just be matched with people and just say hi and move on. Same with FF14, really. You could even do a number of raids that way. So it's, and well, you can do that in WoW too with LFR, but with something like this, no. It's going for the EverQuest vibe. It's going for this kind of appeal. And it's going to require actual communication. It's going to actually require you to talk to people. So that's going to be something I'm going to have to get over. But that's more of a me issue than the game issue, you know? I think I've hit all the points that I hit before. So if future me wants to just use this, he can. Maybe I should go through, write it all down, and do it as post commentary. That's valid. But yeah, I think I've hit all the notes I wanted to hit. Game has my attention. I think I prefer Monsters and Memories more, but this is still of interest. we'll have to wait and see how these boil out, because Monsters and Memories might cleave too much to EverQuest for my liking, or this might, or down the line one may appeal more to me than the other will. So we'll have to wait and see how it goes. And it's always possible that one of them will die and the other will live. Like, it's straight out just like dead, because EverQuest is a niche game, and these are built off a niche game. So it's a concerning thing for their longevity, basically. Like, the audience they're courting is EverQuest players. And since they are deviating from the EverQuest formula at least a little, they are, at least a little, courting people like me who like the idea of EverQuest but can't actually stomach it. So I question how big of a population this is among MMO players, So, and especially with two of the same type coming out, not at the same time, but near enough to each other. There will be some cross-pollination. Like, I was playing FF14, and then I'd stop and play WoW, so there was, like, I was deviating between the two. But then there could be outright cannibalism of leaving one MMO for the other, and that could end up killing one off. Like, say if Monsters of Memory does really well and establishes itself really well, there may not be enough people left over for this. But then the cute or the Minecraft aesthetics, however you want to view it, that might draw in the younger crowd and hold their focus better than the Monsters of Memory aesthetic. They may appeal to a different audience and drag in, a different customer group, So there isn't that cannibalism, or it may still be there, but they have this pool of people that isn't being affected by that, so they can thrive off them, You never know. But anyway, I hope you've enjoyed, and I hope you join me again soon. I think I will be doing post-commentary and, like, going over all this again. I am fucking tired. I am knackered. I've been awake quite a while, and I am just tired at this point. But this was the only time I had to record, so I kind of had to go with it. Anyway, I'll talk to you next time, as there's no real point in talking more if this is going to become post-commentary. So, till then.